Welcome to SorWil Solutions, where we talk about what's going on in our community. I'm here with Kathryn Hancock, our Director of Marketing. I'm Joe Wilson, the CEO and President of SorWil Technology Solutions. And we have our guest today, Jackie Williams, who is the community nonprofit, does everything type of person.
Clean.
You know what, though? I feel like it's hard to put a name on just what exactly it is I do in this community besides I love Leavenworth County. Like, that is what I do. I was trying to think about, like, how do you introduce me? And because I wear so many different hats, I just love this community. And it's one of those things where I don't have family here. Like, we're not related to anybody in we're not related to anybody in Kansas, or this part of the country. Let's just put that out there. We don't own property here. We have one vehicle registered here. Next month, it'll be all the whole fleet will be registered here, and I'll be a Kansas voter finally and all. Um, but it's one of those things where, having been an active duty military spouse and gotten the privilege to live here for a year. It was a great experience. And then we left for 5 years to Korea, which was an amazing experience. The culture, the history. We do have family there on my husband's side. But then when it was time for the Army to decide where to send us back, I'll be honest, there were promises of an island or another location overseas. And so when my husband came home and said, "Hey, we're repeating a location," I immediately went into panic because we had repeated a previous location and we hadn't been in very many locations. And so I thought, "Oh gosh, I can't." And then I said, "Okay, I will. I will find a way to plug into that community again." And he goes, "No, no, we're repeating a different location." I said, "Oh, where?" He goes, "How about Leavenworth?" And I said, "Oh, easy, done. Yeah, let's go." Um, and so it was easy to say yes to coming back to here. And then when we got here, our oldest was eighth grade at that time. And so he knew high school was the year following. Um, he said, "Hey, mom and dad, I would really like to do all 4 years of high school in the same location." And so at that time, he wasn't asking for here, he was just asking 4 years in the same place. And I said, "Wow, Bubba, that means either we're moving again next year and then hopefully staying in that place for 4 years or here." And so my husband and I talked about it, and he said, "You know what? I think here is where it's at. I think
Mhm.
this is where I hit my 20. I think I want to retire here for now. And let's give our boys what they've asked for." They've been so great about living everywhere in the world with us and embracing the adventure everywhere we've lived at, and embracing the culture everywhere we've lived at. And so, yeah, we are like LV pioneers now at the high school and completely immersed into it. But the fact that our kids are love the community as well,
Mhm.
and that asking to stay in one location and then saying, "But I really think here would be just as good." And we thought our youngest was going to be like, "Oh, well, I don't think I can stay here. I want to go out into the world because he's my wanderlust child." And now he's watched his big brother do things at the high school. He's now a junior. Um, He's like, "No, I wanna go all 4 years to LV too," and so to have your kids buy into a
Yeah.
community as well and want to invest into that community just really warms my mama heart. But it's one of those things where I feel like at the end of the day, like, there's not, like, one pinpoint hat that I wear except that I love this community and I want so much good for it. It's like there are so many great little nuggets here,
Mhm.
and what's on the horizon for this community is amazing if we can all come together and bring all this amazing energy we have here together to continue to push us forward, and because I don't think people always realize like what goes on here
Mhm.
if you just look around and just say, "Okay, I don't need to cross the Blue Bridge. I don't need to go down Highway 7. There's a lot right here already for me." So
It's pretty amazing. It's funny that you say that you were kind of thought you were going to an island destination. I'm
I
an
was about to
army
say
brat
that.
myself, and I talked about this during my campaign. We were in Germany at the time. We thought we were going to Hawaii. We ended up in Leavenworth, Kansas. I mean, at the time was a little bit of a disappointment. I had
right.
no idea where Leavenworth, Kansas was. at 10 years old. And so it's been a pretty amazing. It's a place that I have grown to call home as well. I have had my kids here, got married here, done all the things. If you were to list out every nonprofit you're
Yes.
associated with,
Oh
and we
gosh.
got involved with you doing some of our nonprofit work as well, and I think you brought us some shirts one time. You brought us like 100 shirts of all these different nonprofits you were involved in. But if you're realistically, how many different
Oh
nonprofits are
gosh.
you involved in?
So I have the caveat. I did not go seek anyone's permission to wear the hat and represent any
Sure.
of the places today. But I will say I am grateful for the opportunities I get to have by serving and volunteering with a variety of organizations. So being a military spouse, now a retired military spouse, I am involved with the Fort Leavenworth Spouses Club, and I encourage military spouses wherever in the world they live, seek out the spouses club. It's such a great avenue to connect to your community, but also kind of have that buddy that helps push you beyond the gates as well,
It can
Mhm.
right?
get pretty
Because
lonely being a military
it
spouse,
can, and it
always
can
changing
get
friends and
absolutely, and then it can be overwhelming, like, all right, where do we get our hair done? Who is the dentist in town, And
yeah.
so knowing you've got this built-in group of people that are in the same boat as you. And then I love the aspect that our spouses clubs also take a philanthropic approach. They're always giving back into the community, whether it's through their scholarship programs or their community grants programs and through their volunteerism. And so I love that aspect as well of the welcome to our new community. Let me help you figure out where the dentist is or the best grocery store beyond the commissary, but also here are some amazing organizations, depending on what your passion is, that you can get connected to. And oh, hey, do you read books or do you play bunco or golf or bowling or run? Like, or do you need someone to show you where all the best coffee shops are? We've got groups for that too. So I love the opportunity that I get to be part of the Spouses Club here on the fort. With that, I've also gotten a couple of other opportunities, whether it's helping with ACS's multicultural family program that they have up and running over there at ACS. I also love that I have a very dear friend who saw a need in the community and said, I have a way to fill the gaps. And so Monica Bassett has given me the opportunity to volunteer with Stronghold Food Pantry on the Fort, which is an amazing organization and just a great way. I love that my boys get the opportunity to volunteer as well and see that it's not just outside the gates where we face food insecurities, but that it's also our neighbors inside the gates that face food insecurities. So I love the opportunities that I've gotten with Stronghold, but also that my boys have gotten through Stronghold.
Sure.
I have the privilege of sitting on the USD 207 school board, which is the four schools on Fort Leavenworth itself. And that is just amazing experience. I simply was a mom who attended my kids' site councils because I wanted to be involved with what was going on in our schools for not just for my kids, but also for our teachers and our staff and our neighbors. And so by being involved with that, when the opportunity came open to fill a vacant seat, it was one of those things where it just seemed like a natural progression. And I've done that at every duty station we've been stationed
Wow.
at, whether it's been the site council or the PTA, or if it's been while we were with the day schools, it was the um, installation advisory council and then the district council and all. And so it's just one of those things that kind of that's my passion. I like to know
Sure.
what's going on in my kids' schools. Being a former teacher, I want to make sure that teachers are protected and that they have the ability to teach our future. I mean, these are the kids who are going to take care of us, right?
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I'm going to be taken care of well, but it's also making sure that, our community is connected as well. So it's an amazing honor to be able to serve on the school board. Oh gosh, is there, I know
The
it's like
United
trying to
Way.
think. Outside the gates, I've had this amazing opportunity because I always tell people, as a military family, look for opportunities to live beyond the gates, right? It's so easy to stay inside our gates. Um, but there's such an amazing way to connect beyond the gates. And so having this passion to want to be part of our community and seeing that there was needs to plug in. And I'm a really good idea fairy. I have so many amazing ideas, but I also am the kind of person who will say, okay, here's my good idea. Can we sit down at the table and see how do we make this a reality? Or am I overlooking what your situation is? Tell me how I can help, you know? Because it's so easy just to say, we've got all these problems or there's this need, and then to do nothing about it, or be like, well, I can't do anything about it. And so I always like to come to the table and say, well, tell me then, how can I help? And so the United Way of Leavenworth County has been an amazing opportunity to be able to come to the table and say, all right, how can we help? Because the United Way partners with 18 other nonprofits in
Wow.
Leavenworth
Wow.
County. Um, and so I do not touch all of those, but being able to go to different parts of our community and say, do you have a way to partner with these other 18 nonprofits, whether it's financially, um, whether it's through services or even just volunteering, because sometimes it's overwhelming knowing what's all out there in your community and going, well, gosh, I have a passion for, and then just trying to figure out how to navigate to that. And so I love that the United Way is kind of that, like the connector of it. Like, come to us. What do you love? We'll connect you with somebody, or hey, you have a way to support. Let us kind of connect you to some people who need some support. And I also love that they're a service provider out there of when people have a need, they can come to the United Way and the United Way can say, okay, here's a nonprofit that can help you in this situation, and then just offering the opportunity to connect in the community. So I love the opportunity to sit on the United Way of Leavenworth County's board. I'm currently their campaign chair, which has been amazing. It's been a great boat to go, like I said, to go out and
Mhm.
learn about more nonprofits in our community,
Mhm.
but also to kind of connect those people who have the resources to the avenues that need the resources. So I really have loved that.
You work with
Um,
such amazing people too, like Connie Harmon and Mary Mack, and
oh my gosh, yes.
they're all so great.
I'm always in awe of like the people whose table I get to sit at.
Mhm.
Because it's always one of those things of it's such an honor when you get asked to sit at the table. I mean, even being here today,
Mhm.
such an honor to be asked to sit at your table, that it's, I sometimes find myself fangirling, like, oh my gosh, do you know who I got to be in the same room with, And um, being a member of the Chamber of Commerce and sitting on their leadership
Yeah.
committee, I had the honor and privilege of going through their leadership class, which you're going through
I
right
do
now.
now.
Yeah.
But having the privilege of going through that class and my classmates, that was a fangirl moment
Mhm.
of getting to spend the year with the people that were in my class last year, being like, oh my gosh, like these are movers and shakers who have now given me their contact info and said, reach out anytime. And I'm like, you guys don't understand. Like, I
Will.
will. Like, I will be the force of nature who will show up and you will be like, "Oh, I didn't mean like that." And I'm like, "No, no, you said anytime, give me a call or send me an email." Um, but by going through that class with the Chamber of Commerce, I had the privilege of being asked to sit on the committee, which has been phenomenal to work with the group.
It's an amazing class, and it really gives you the opportunity to learn things about the community that you had no idea were
Oh
there.
my gosh, yeah. I definitely encourage, anybody who is an influencer in this community, whether you think you are or not, um, but just to learn the history of this community and to be able to network with other people in the community. Again, having access to the people that I had, not just my classmates, but also different members of Leavenworth and Lansing in the community and all. It was phenomenal to be able to have that. And like I said, the opportunity to go back and now serve on a committee with them and help grow that program has been amazing. So I do get to help with that. One that's incredibly dear to me is I started volunteering at the Deeper Window Association 3 years ago after Elaine Barlow and Sister Vicky came and spoke at the Lions Club because I am a member of the Lions Club as well. Because I volunteered at my children's school where they did hearing and vision screening. But I remember Elaine came in and shared about the deeper window. And I remember looking at my neighbor and going, well, you know what? We've got like 2 hours on Thursday afternoons. Like we'll go to Lions Club and then we'll go volunteer at the deeper window. And it'll be great, And
Can you
um,
explain? Because I didn't know what that was until you and I
oh,
met. In fact, I think
And then we met
we
Elaine.
met, yes, but we
oh my
talked at
gosh.
a chamber coffee about the Deeper Window Association, and we had no idea what it was.
Um,
And so, for those people who aren't
oh my
aware,
gosh,
can you kind
yes.
of describe what that is and
Um,
what they do?
You can't have a bad day at the deeper window. It is soul filling and it is living history. But what the Deeper Window Association is it's an opportunity to provide respite care to those impacted by dementia. And so, Sister Vicky and Elaine started a program when Elaine's husband Jose was diagnosed with um, early onset dementia. And so they realized there weren't really any resources in Leavenworth County for those impacted by that. Um, and that the journey through dementia deserves dignity.
Mhm.
And that when someone is diagnosed with that, it's not the end, it's just the beginning of a different way that you're going to journey through life. And so they came up with a program where they have a facility where we have 5 hours of respite care where we keep our participants engaged. Like I go home tired, but the intent is that they are engaged and they're happy and they're tired when they go home. But they have a building that they purchased over on Pennsylvania, and our participants come. We currently have a program at our facility on Mondays and Thursdays, and our participants come. We have coffee, we sit down and we chit chat and we kibitz and we catch up on all the things. I have to now stay up on KU basketball and Chiefs football, the weather, current agricultural trends. I mean, like there are things I am learning and keeping tabs of because my participants will come in and those are the things they want to talk about. And so I am very much invested in that as well. But we then Sister Lucy comes in and she does trivia and word games with us because keeping the brain active is how you continue to stay engaged in all. So if you're not doing those Sudoku puzzles or the word searches or even Candy Crush, like anything that is challenging your brain, like keep at it. Because you will find phenomenal ways of how that impacts your brain in a positive way. But we do that. We have an amazing partnership with Meals on Wheels. They bring our
Mhm.
lunch. And our participants, a lot of them arrive via transportation that they have arranged through the Council on Aging. So it's
Yeah.
again those partnerships,
Mhm.
which are amazing here in this community. Um, we have our lunch, and I love like our participants will go and they set the napkins out and they set
Aw.
the forks out and they'll take your drink order. And it's like, they're engaged, they're involved. After lunch, we have a great partnership on Monday. Coach Mary Lou comes and she does movement with us. Like there is no sitting down. There is no taking a after lunch siesta. Like we're up and moving. Um, and playing games on Thursday. Miss Carol Ann and her dog Conley come in and do music with us for an
Wow.
hour. And all of those songs that we learned in elementary school, like with the music primer and everything like that, yeah, we're singing those kind of thing. And it's amazing because they'll have stories about the songs or when they heard that song because music triggers memories for
Sure.
some of them, which is phenomenal.
They are in early onset dementia.
But they
They're
are. They're very much able to still engage. They're able to carry on conversations and all. There's one gentleman who shared with me one time. He's like, I think I've shared this story with you before. And I said, you know what? That's okay though. I'll listen 100 times because you share such great stories. And so they're phenomenal because they are still engaging. And some of them you have to slow down. Like and you have to be cognizant of just listening. And that's one of the things I love about being at the deeper window is that our life is so fast paced.
Mhm.
But when I go there, we joke we're on retired time. Like there's no need to, speed through the day or hard set like, well, it's 1 o'clock. Now we have to do. No, if the lunch conversation spills over and we're still engaged or we're savoring our lunch, like that's okay. And being able to give them that time to just think and share is phenomenal. And it's really taught me to slow down and be more intentional with when I have my conversations with people, even with my kids. My kids are like, "What are you doing, mom?" And I'm like, "I'm listening. I want the details. And they're like, "Oh, okay." They're like, "All right, mom." I'm like, "I'm asking more questions because they want
Yeah.
you to share more." But they're so great. And I will say, no one warned me about how much I would get attached to them because they are like my second family. They ask about my kids.
Wow.
When my mom is here in town, she comes and volunteers with us. And then they ask about my mom. They ask about the things that they know I'm impacted by in the community and all. And so it's great to have this other family that loves me and loves my kids. But we keep them active, we keep them going. There's always an afternoon activity. um, it's our group on Monday because we're very capable of making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. We make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that get delivered to the interfaith community of Hope, and they get passed out for dinner when they open
Wow.
their night shelter.
That's so nice.
And again, it's that amazing partnership here in this
Yes.
community of like
Everyone's connected.
we're all these connections. And you never realize how connected you are either or how you can help each other either. And so that's our Monday and Thursday at the deeper window. On Tuesday, it's Let's Roll with Sister Vicky. So with our partnership with the Council on Aging, we load up in the van or in the bus and we go places.
Oh, wow.
Last week we went down to Crown Center. If you have not seen the mayor's Christmas tree or just how they decorate down there, it's
So
phenomenal.
beautiful.
It is. It was just so beautiful. And then there were school groups that were performing. And so watching my participants watch the kids perform and just their beams of joy. And then the ones that were in choir when they were kids were like, I remember doing this. And just having them share was great. And then they talked about their different holiday traditions and all. And so it's just a great exchange of information and all. But yeah, we do every Tuesday, we take them out on a trip. And so this coming Tuesday, we'll do Taco Tuesday because it's Tuesday. And then they go volunteer at the Humane Society here
Wow.
in Leavenworth County because, man, Miss Crystal, she's got a ton of towels that need to be folded. She's got concretes that need to be filled with peanut butter. And so they're very capable of engaging still. And so, um, I tell people, that's one of my passions. It's just getting my soul filled by spending time with them. And I know it doesn't work with everybody's schedule or everybody's got the ability to invest. And so I always do tell people, when you're getting ready to invest in the community, find what your passion is as well. If you had asked me 10 years ago if working with an aging population or those that have dementia would be where my passion and my time investment would be, I would be like, "Oh, I don't know anything about that." And I don't have anybody personally impacted by it, but it was a chance opportunity that someone shared with me and I said, "Sure, like let's give it a try." And
Yeah.
it has been one of those things that I truly am grateful that I've gotten to plug into. Gosh,
So,
there's a lot more.
so
Yeah.
I feel like I forgot.
that's why I'm like, we should count
Maybe
these.
we should
We talk
recap.
about the deeper window,
Love
the
them.
United Way, Stronghold, the spouses group,
Fort Leavenworth.
Fort
Mhm,
Lumber Spouses Group. You're on the Chamber Leadership Committee.
mhm.
What have we missed?
School board.
Oh, also on the school board on Fort
Um,
Leavenworth.
I'm a mom.
Full
I
time job.
I love showing up. Someone asked me the other day about it because I was on my way. My oldest is on the swim team for the Pioneers. Woohoo! They won their swim meet the other day. Turner, way to go, guys. Um, but someone said, "Gosh, do you go to all of your kids' activities?" And I said, as many opportunities as I get to be at them. And um, my boys and I had a talk the other day. I said, guys, I just having my youngest junior high basketball schedule and having the high school swim team schedule. I was like, guys, you guys have events at the exact same time on a couple of days. I said, I can't be in two places at one time. They're like, Mom, it's fine. Like you show up for as much as you can. And I said, all right. And so having kids who understand that I can't be at everything um, is huge, but also letting them know I will be there for as many of them. But then also I know that that doesn't work for every family. And so, I have my other parents where I'm like, hey, I'll take the photos, I'll take the videos, I'll give you the score updates and whatnot, because it takes a village.
Mhm.
But just gosh, getting that opportunity to be there for them uh, at Raider Nationals. So my oldest is on the Leavenworth JRTC Raiders
And they're
male
like
team.
6-time national
6-time
champions.
national champions.
We
Yes,
need to shout
yes.
out to the
Shout out to
Leavenworth
them.
Raiders.
Definitely amazing. The female and the male team both placed first in their division this year,
Mhm.
which is super exciting. The co-ed team came in top 10, which is amazing. But to watch those kids go out there and do that stuff, I can't. If you see me running through the woods, you better run too. Let's just put that out there. If you see Jackie Williams running through the woods, you need to be running as well because that's the only time I run. Um, but no, I was dubbed the cowbell mom
Oh,
because
Oh, no.
I took a
no,
cowbell,
not the cowbell
and
mom.
but it was one of those things where I was like, I wanted the kids to know we're here. You're putting in the work and you're competing and you are putting your heart on the line. And so, hey, if you need to know where your LV Raider parents, moms and dads are, here we are.
Ding, ding.
You can find us. We are here. Just listen for the sound of the bell. The closer it gets, the sooner you're done,
We had one
kind
of
of thing.
those when my brother was playing baseball.
Was always on the
Cowbell
other team,
mom,
though.
Oh yeah.
We were not fond of the cowbell mom.
No, not so much. Not more cowbell.
but you knew she was
More cowbell. But it's one of those things, getting that opportunity to be the mom. And I always tell people, I only get them for like 18 years.
That's
That's
true.
true.
And then I really have to launch them into the world and share them with the rest of the world and hope that I and the village of people that have been around them have been enough of a good influence that they're going to be decent human beings out there, and that we've invested in them to know how to give back to the community and to be good humans
Maybe
and
they start working for you too.
right, and one of the things I love is that like my boys give me hugs, and I am not a big hugger, like contrary to popular belief, people.
I would not have guessed that.
I
I'm
would not have
really
guessed that either.
not a big hugger. But if like you can sense when someone needs a hug, I will gladly give that hug if you need that hug. Um, but it's like my boys have now, like when they get done on their own, have decided like when they're done with their baseball game or they're done competing in this or in that, like the first person they seek out is me. And I'm like, I didn't ask them to do that, and I love that,
That's super touching.
and I think that's the coolest gift. That's how I feel like I'm doing something right. And if I didn't get to volunteer or make an impact in any other way in the community, knowing my boys have that good heart, like good enough, kind of thing. But it's one of those things of being able to show them too how to connect into a community
Sure.
and find your passion and knowing that you don't need the accolades or that being in front isn't always the best way to make an impact. There are some people who are just phenomenal. They get out there and they can speak about something and people will listen and they're called to action and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll follow you anywhere. What do I need to do, right, to do an impact?" And then there are people who also work very well behind the scenes
Mhm.
and they're the doers sometimes and you need those as well to make things happen. And so being able to show my boys that there are many roles you can fill
Mhm.
and that you don't You don't have to just be one thing or the other, but when you see a need, ask the questions. How can we fill this need? How can we make this impact in the community? And it doesn't have to be big or grandiose, you know. Sometimes it's just acknowledging that hey, there is a need. Because how many times do we get so complacent in our way of things and we get kind of tunnel vision about things and we don't realize that there's a need or a better way to do something until someone even just brings it up to us. And but I also remind my boys and I remind other people is that, when you bring that up, ask, well, how can I help?
Mhm.
So and
Such great advice. So now we're going to kind of switch over here. I think we kind of prepped you for this a little bit. What's on your mind? As many of you will notice, our other host, Ken Miller, our public information officer professional, is not here. He's in New York with his family for the holidays. Otherwise, he would have been here to for the podcast. But we're going to start with Catherine today. Catherine, what is on your mind?
We're actually doing a GoFundMe for Leavenworth Interfaith Community of Hope to raise money to be able to set up their IT correctly and better and get them the security they need. And so we are doing that on our Facebook page.
Nice shout out to Interfaith.
that's huge. Again, it's, what's the need and how can we help in that need, you know?
And to be fair, I mean, Miranda didn't ask us to do that.
No.
There is some funds there, but what we're trying to do is allow those funds to continue to be used for the
Mhm.
community, and so that we can improve their network, their phone system, their security system, some physical security with doors and things. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, this isn't a inexpensive venture, but we want to see how much of this we can get the community to help us contribute to that, and we're going to do the work for free for that. It's just a matter of getting the other things that they need, and we've asked Miranda for this wish list. What is in a perfect world? So we're hoping that we can start to do some of that stuff for them and help reduce some of their operating costs so they can continue to use that money for other things that are important. So it's a good shout out. I appreciate that. Uh, I have been thinking about, um, or been ringing bells for the Salvation Army as part of Rotary because while you're a lion, I'm a Rotarian.
It's all right.
I really enjoy being out there ringing the bells. I love smiling at people. I love telling people Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever it is. And some people, it's like this light shines up on their face because they weren't expecting it, or people aren't saying it, or they just weren't expecting you to engage them, and so many people in this community, like you say, are so giving. Yesterday, I mean, most of the time you're at Dylan's is the warmer place to ring bells,
I do
in
I
my
do
opinion.
hear that Dylan's has a better, approach of lighting over there from
You
the
don't get the
sky.
north wind.
I do hear that might be the place to be, but,
But I was at Walmart. Walmart was far busier, much colder, so I shivered a little bit in front of Walmart. It was also the coldest day, but I really enjoy that. And people are like, it just seems silly, but for me, it's really just getting out there and talking to people and being part of the community. So I really enjoyed that. Thank you to all who have given to the Salvation Army and who continue to give and support that cause, and for all the things we have in our community. And I think part of this podcast, my goal was for us to introduce people to all the things that we have in this community because there isn't one place to go to find the one thing. Um, Jackie, top of mind for you.
Oh gosh. Okay. I love that Joe is going to be the new unofficial door greeter at all of the businesses here in town. Watch out. I know Walmart's already got door greeters still, and you're getting door greeters. You didn't know it, but here comes Joe. No.
That's my retirement plan. So
There we go. You know what though? It's the small things of being seen. You know, people just want to know that they were seen, and it's a simple hi or a smile that, like you said, can totally change someone's just that moment, and maybe even just turn around their day and all. And that's a little thing of just saying hi or smiling or saying Merry Christmas or
Remembering their name, like just little things.
and so it is. It's that tiny bit of like kindness you can throw out there kind of thing. So gosh, what is on my mind? I love this season of the year. If you ask me my favorite time of the year, it's really from college football season through about spring or so. I love the whole gamut of it. Um, but I love that there are so many initiatives out there in this community. And you're absolutely right. It's very hard to really pinpoint um, what all is going on in this community, right? And so I do encourage people check out the Chamber of Commerce calendar, what they have on their website. Check out the Visitors Bureau, what they have on their website. Uh, Facebook. There's like 16 different avenues, right?
Yeah.
But I really encourage you to find your passion, whether it's greeting people at the door, or it is finding ways to use your resources to help others in your community. But find that passion and then find a way to invest that. I always get people who say, "Gosh, you love all the things. How do you do it?" And I'm like, I really have had to step back and reevaluate and go, "Yeah, I really do love all the things, but if I love all the things, then I can't fully invest in all the things the way I need to." And so it has been narrowing down what are my passions, and really investing in those so that I can truly invest in those. But so just as we continue to go into this season is find that joy, whether it's a simple hello or Merry Christmas or have a great day to someone, and just pour your passion into it. So, because again, this community is dynamic, it is dynamite.
Mhm.
And it's the little things about this community that makes such a difference, that stick with people, whether it's the person that said hi to you as you were going in and out of the grocery store, or it's the connection of connecting you to an avenue of volunteering or plugging into this community, or if it was simply just sharing some information of what is available, in this community. Those little touch points are huge and impactful to people, and they're little, but they make such an impact. And like I said, it's what I love about this community, and again, not from here, don't own property or business here, but there's something about it that just has grabbed a hold of me and said,
Mhm.
okay, this is where I need to be at right now and where I need to pour my energy and time into. So, but yeah, absolutely. So that's what's on my mind and where my heart is right now is just encouraging people to just find those small ways to plug in. So,
Thank you so much for being here.
gosh,
I know it's
yeah.
kind of the last minute. We appreciate you filling in.
Yep.
As we close out this Christmas Eve podcast, I do want to send out my condolences to Commissioner elect Reed at the loss of her brother this week. Our heart pours out for you and prayers and whatever we can do to help you through this rough time. Also, if it's Merry Christmas to have you or Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it
Happy
is,
holidays.
Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas from us to you. Thank you so much for watching.